It's like 37 degrees in my basement right now. Who knows how long I'm willing to stand here. I know this, getting to podcast and have a conversation with my two co-hosts, Grant Allen and Kevin Ward, that makes it a little bit better. If I was alone, it'd be much less time.
Grant, you just got promoted.
Yeah.
Oh,
sort of realized that as I said it. It's like intern, co-host, producer.
I'm flattered. A lot of people just turned it off after they heard that come out of your mouth. But
as you as a co-host,
that idea, a lot of people just turned it off because of that. But we'll work on it.
What are we talking about over on In the Kitchen podcast these days? What's going on?
What is going on over there?
Football. A lot of football. A lot of Rick Pitino. St. John's is getting hot.
Are they getting hot?
Oh, they're getting hot. They're getting hot right now.
And does he have them? Is he buying hookers for them, or?
As of right now, I'm not sure. I'm waiting for some investigative journalism to come out there. But
that is.
How are our JMU Dukies doing in the basketball realm? They started off hot too there, right?
They're doing all right. They had a tough loss to Southern Miss recently, but I think we're on pace to still be in the tournament.
Love that.
And that's all that matters. We just get to the tournament. Anything can happen there.
Anything can happen from there.
There would be nothing better, I think, for this podcast, and that's complete hyperbole. I could think of 100 things better, but we'll just run with it. There could be nothing better.
Too. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
We might be sliding. I didn't even realize they lost to App State at home, too. It's not good.
Can't be having that.
No, got to win those home games in conference for sure.
We need them in the podcast, or in the podcast. We need them in the tournament.
JMU for sure.
Yeah, it would be really great fun. As after the football season we had following them and tailing them as a JMU adjacent podcast. It would be a very big thing for them to make the tournament, so we could talk about them, bet on them. One game that is going on right now, another one about to start as we record this. Obviously, we record on Sunday nights. Something that nobody foresaw. So, apologize, by the way, if you can hear my daughter in the background. Kinley is just going absolute ape shit. Got real attached to dad tonight for some reason. So, and maybe she's sad. Maybe she's a Cowboys fan. That could be the reason. Cowboys absolutely getting thrashed on national television by Jordan Love. And, there she is. She keeps throwing her binky down the stairs.
The resident Cowboys fan, does Kinley want Mike McCarthy fired?
Yeah, she's a big Bill Belichick supporter. She wants Belichick to the Cowboys immediately.
I mean, there's some big names out there these days. Bill Belichick.
Other names.
Kelton Copeland.
Harbaugh. They're saying Pete Carroll. There's some big names.
There's some big names out there.
I wouldn't.
You guys think Pete Carroll's going to go back to coaching?
Unless I'm an NFL coach who is still coaching, like I am still in the playoffs and have not been eliminated yet, I would not feel comfortable about my job security.
Yeah. Harbaugh's the big one, I think.
You see, JJ is moving on to the next level.
Yeah, I think everybody expected that, right?
I thought he was going back.
Really?
I thought he was doing another year for sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was a for sure thing by any means. No.
I thought I was under the impression that this was the year that they were very like senior returnee heavy, right? Like they're
extremely heavy. No, yeah, they lose a ton of
right.
talent.
I heard
this was the year that
70 plus upperclassmen.
Yeah, they went all in. It's national championship or bust. They got it done. And then if JJ had a great year, he was going to leave. But maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I can see you want to leave from that perspective. It's like, hey, like half this team's leaving. Like there's no way we're topping that. Like this is the best way to walk away from.
Is Michigan
my
going to
Michigan career? I mean, there's still a ton of talent on that roster. I wouldn't say that.
Tough schedule next year, though. Really tough.
Tough schedule.
Yeah.
Can you bring that up, Grant?
Okay.
But that one Washington game, which both Michigan and Iowa have on the schedule, is looking like it's going to be a little bit easier next year than
it is.
They got the one coach though that would make me worried. Fish from Arizona, like that's a good hire.
Yeah, so that was breaking news. Like what?
Oh, they already announced their head coach.
90 minutes ago, they announced that they're hiring Arizona's head coach.
That's a good hire for them. Congratulations to them.
And he did wonders with them this year.
Oh yeah, Arizona was a dog shit program 2 years ago.
They have been for a while.
Yeah.
And they just went and won. Did they win 10 games?
Yes.
9 or 10, I think.
I think they won their last 7 games in a row, and 5 of them were against ranked opponents.
Jesus. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And so his name is Jed Fish, and now he goes to Washington. And I saw a tweet that extending him at Arizona was not a priority for the
Wildcats.
Yeah, for their athletic department.
I don't know if you guys remember back in like October, there was that story where they're like 240 million so odd in debt over in their athletic department. It just kind of got brushed under the rug. Yeah, like crazy. So they probably just couldn't afford.
So they have no money.
Allegedly,
they can't.
Like,
hire
I'm not
anyone.
their accountant, but I remember seeing the article. It's like that can't be good.
Man, that's tough. I can't. It's tough to imagine like a Power 5 school like that just mishandling an athletic program that poorly.
Well, you got to imagine a lot of that's from COVID, right?
Still,
a lot of debt. I mean, I know Iowa went into I think Iowa lost. I'm going to sound like a dummy, but I'm no for a fact.
I'm sure Iowa lost out in hundreds of millions of dollars and lost revenue.
I want to say it was like 150 million or something.
Sure, but I mean, doesn't mean you have to go into $250 million of debt over it.
You're right. No, something else happened.
Yeah,
multiple something else's happened for that to. But can you imagine KF decides he's retiring, and then it comes out? I mean, people know because it's hard to hide financials.
I mean, it's a public university.
The university just finds out, or the public just finds out, oh, Iowa has no money. We have to hire some scrub. We have to go and get some shitty guy.
I mean, here's my thing though: is you can find someone who's a really good football coach, and you don't have to pay him $5, $6, $7, $8, $9.
No, you don't.
$10 million. Like there's Kalen Deboer, for example. He was a high school coach for 10 years.
Indiana's OC 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Now the leader of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
But I'm just saying, it's there's good football coaches who are good leaders who can communicate effectively to 18 to 22-year-olds that can do it for less than $5 million.
Yeah, who haven't worked.
You can go find a diamond in the rough somewhere.
For sure.
Give some. You could find a D2 head coach somewhere who's doing a great job.
Yes.
And $3 million is probably doubling his current salary at least.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would love to know the highest paid D2 coach.
I mean, I think a lot of these athletic programs get just obsessed with finding a big name,
Yeah, they get. Yeah, I agree.
Because I think they want to get these fan bases excited because name recognition is important, and I guess it's important with recruiting to a certain degree as well. But
yeah,
you can find say you're balling on a budget, you can find the right guy in a budget.
I fully agree.
It's extremely hard, but you can do it.
I said this in the Discord the other day, and it was a different discussion. People were talking about Fran McCaffrey, his tenure, what that looks like, how long he's going to be in Iowa. There are several people who are on the side of we need to get Fran out of here. He can't get to a Sweet 16, yada, yada. The other side is well, he's got the most wins in program history and multiple Big Ten titles. Or tournament titles. And I don't remember what exactly I was responding to, but it was similar to the people get obsessed with these big name guys. I was at some point, the players are the ones playing the game. You need a coach who's good, but some people get too far obsessed with the coach. Hey, if we could just get the right coach, we'll win all our games. It's it's not that easy. It's just not that easy.
I mean, yeah, the coach is the captain of the ship and sets the direction and steers it and hires all the sailors and shit, but takes a lot more than
the sailors don't do their job, then the ship.
Well, the captain makes sure the one that makes sure the sailors do their job, but it takes more than hey, I'm hiring you. You take this wooden boat over across the ocean, get it to where we want to get it to. Yeah. It's more than just that.
What do you think about that Deboer hire at Alabama and that's been a hot topic, at least in the fantasy minds of Iowa fans, because Ryan Grubb,
I think officially has been hired as the Alabama.
I'll say I think he's. I
Was
think
it
he's
what
a
did
part
it
of
come
the
out?
tide now.
Right, but for a while there, they were like, "Oh, another domino. He's not going to be the head coach of Washington. Could he be coming to Iowa?" It's like, I don't know. The coaching.
I'm pretty sure it officially came out that he is following,
and that makes sense.
Deboer to Alabama.
I saw a tweet. I think that it was him and their wide receiver and tight end coach are also headed that way. I think the running back coach was staying in Washington. Coaching carousel is wild, man.
Has there been? I haven't really paid attention. Has any Alabama players hit the portal since Saban retired?
I think they just got a receiver.
Well, Isaiah Bond, who he made the catch against Auburn, is now out.
Oh yeah,
to Texas, right?
Yeah, he's going to Texas.
Yeah,
which they're going to be good again. They're loading up as well.
Texas is back.
Do we have 2025 national championship odds out yet?
I'm sure somewhere I can find them.
There's somebody has them probably for sure.
Pull that up if we can find them.
It's
going to be Georgia, Texas.
Who else was going to be really good?
Ohio State is loaded.
Iowa's
right there.
Did Ohio State find a quarterback?
Yeah, they have Will Howard now.
They did get Will Howard. That's right.
Yeah.
Where was he?
Kansas State.
Yeah, he's good. The OC still not announced for Iowa. Obviously, that's a big topic. Kev, what do you think? There you go, right there. College football national championships odds. The Georgia Bulldogs sit as the odds-on favorite.
Bama, Ohio State. What was that? No, Michigan.
Michigan is
plus
still
900.
tied for
Texas at plus 900. Mate. Texas and Oregon at 900 and plus 1,000. And Ole Miss.
I'd say Ole Miss.
I feel like if you bet those three, you're all around 10-1 odds on each of them. I think you have a pretty good shot.
It's good money. It's good money right there.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, even Georgia at 3-1 is probably good money too, though.
Yeah. They're gonna be really real.
Kev, what do you think about no OC being announced yet for Iowa? Do you feel like it's gone?
Honestly,
yeah. Do you feel like it's gone a little long?
A little bit. Obviously, we're not privy to any of the conversations happening behind doors, but I think they had indicated that they would have it announced by now, right?
I believe.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Like they said like within a couple of weeks of the bowl game, and
KF said
it's a couple of weeks after the bowl game now.
Yeah, I think KF said in an interview down at the bowl game sometime during that week that he would like to have it. Did he say announced or did he say? Because who knows? Deal could have been done, right? Like we don't know.
Sure, but I mean, like.
But why would you? Why would you
not? Secret of it?
Yeah, there's no reason to keep it a secret. So who knows? So maybe it's not done. He said something like he wanted to have it, that situation all tied up by the second week of January, or the second or third week of January, and we're right
14th.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just like
it's weird.
It is weird.
Do you think it's? So this just play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Obviously, Philbin is one of the names being tossed around a lot.
Yep.
Do you think Philbin's possibly waiting for an NFL job to open up and Iowa's his fallback job? And
it's certainly possible. I don't know why it wouldn't be a possibility. But I have to imagine that on Kirk and Iowa's side of things, you also have a bit of a timetable where you're like, hey, we kind of need an answer by.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I would definitely want the guy there when the semester started, right?
Which is
Grant. Is that tomorrow?
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay.
Remotely. So if he wants to work remote Tuesday, he can. But
I forgot Iowa canceled in-person classes yesterday,
which they never do
for classes on Tuesday.
Yeah,
to be fair, it's going to
never
feel like negative 40 on Tuesday or something like that.
Yeah, that's
I don't care.
That's the notification I got.
I don't care. Pussies. Just like everybody calling for the Bills to have played their game in no visibility in a blizzard. I agree. Walk to class. Get over that bridge. Walk to class. Get your ass to the EPB.
Moped doesn't start. Good.
Good.
Chance for increasing your mental toughness.
Time to get some steps in.
My car is 100% not starting. It's just waiting there for me.
The Cadillac and my moped, no shot.
Grant, where did you do your freshman? Where did you stay freshman dorms at?
Memphis, Tennessee.
You were in Memphis. That's right.
So not a lot of
you wouldn't know about that walk from Hillcrest over to the main campus, walking across the frozen river when the wind comes and smacks you at 40 miles an hour.
It's tough. It's not good.
You're sheltered.
He is sheltered.
Never forget that.
The coaching carousel sweeps up Kelton Copeland as well. Kev, I don't know if you saw that.
I did see it. Yep.
Wide receivers coach started the year that we were seniors.
Yep.
My father-in-law asked if he was a good guy, and my response was, yeah, he seemed like a good guy. I maybe talked to him 4 times when he was in
You're not in the wide receiver drills? What are you talking about?
Well, I think it's it might be something that people find interesting. Like, I swear to God, I may have had a conversation face to face, me and Kelton Copeland, maybe 4 times in the entirety of the time that he was there, which would have been, I think, about a year with us.
And I'm guessing each time was just at training table and you just randomly sitting at the same table.
I want to say 2 of them were training table. One of them was like in the meeting room hallway, and maybe once at practice during a drink break. Like that, literally, that was the extent. And you're like, well, how does that happen? You spend every day together. It's like, well, man, there's 120 players, there's 20 coaches, and there's another 20 staff. You just don't maintain
the long snapper and wide receiver coach relationship ain't that strong.
We're just not in the same spot a lot. And
no, like you just never would really cross over one another.
Ever.
Like, I don't think people realize this in general is like, you don't talk to your position coach, or I shouldn't say talk. You don't see your position coach very often outside of spring ball and the season.
Yeah.
So like January through March, you don't see them a whole lot.
You might
Summer, you don't see them.
Yeah.
You see them a little bit more. And then obviously once the season rolls around, you see them every day. But yeah, you're like basically never going to have any scheduled time with any other position coach.
No.
So I got a question then. So a guy like Copeland, right? You don't see him a lot. Do you think someone like Copeland could name all the special teams players, like even the backups, like knows all their names for sure? Like if you gave him a quiz, all their faces, you think that he could go?
I think Copeland was a good dude. I got to talk to him a handful of times.
If they're a good coach, yes.
But
I didn't mean that as like a
I will say this.
It's like if they just never interact, they just never.
I will say this. There's definitely been some coaches that did not know everybody's name.
Correct.
If they're just walking by him in the hallway, they couldn't tell you your fucking name.
My favorite, my favorite one,
up, big dog. What's up,
my
buddy?
favorite one is
what's up, big dog.
I might be getting this story wrong, so whether it's fantasy or not, I don't know. Freshman year for Keith Duncan was 2016. Beats Michigan, last second field goal. I want to say that Coach White,
the special teams coach,
didn't know Keith's name going into the week we played Michigan.
Oh God.
Like, didn't know his first name.
To be fair, I thought his name was Duncan Keith for about 9 months.
Well, because there was a guy named Duncan Keith on the Blackhawks that played hockey for a while. I don't know where he's at now. Probably in Canada. But I think he just knew him as Duncan. I don't think he knew Keith's first name.
Hey, man, like you said, there's 120 guys. That's 120 names. You want to double the amount of names you got to remember?
He was the special teams coach, Kevin.
I know.
In fact, I think the way Keith tells that story, I'm just going to have to get Keith on. He lives a mile away from me, so I should do more podcasts with Keith. But I'll have him tell it. I want to say Keith at one point made a joke that like Coach White didn't know his name for an entire year or something like that. The Michigan game would have only been like 4 months into Keith being in Iowa City. So it took him a while after that to get there. But yeah, anyway, Copeland out as wide receivers coach. The story that started that was sort of to get at the fact that I don't know if he was a good, I could not tell you if he was a good wide receivers coach or not any more than the next guy. He seemed like a good dude. He was
all I can really say is I think the receivers liked him.
Receivers
That's all
love
I
him.
can really say
that.
for him. Yeah.
But
I'll say this too: is that the dude is fucking yoked.
Yeah, the guy's built like a.
He's a weight room animal.
Yeah, and so
like,
he's got.
I just remember walking into the weight room one day, and he is repping out 275 on the incline. I think he did it 12 times. Nope, like racked it easily.
Yeah, he's
like 12.
He's probably just as strong as most players on the team in every lift.
Did you just hear me say 275 for 12 on the incline?
I'm saying in every lift, his upper body was he was that guy. I don't think
there was probably less than 5 guys on our team that could do that.
Yeah, no, you're right. We didn't incline at all, so definitely less than 5. He was yoked out of his mind. First time I saw him, I thought he was a player, I think. And you wouldn't want to catch a ball across the middle if he's playing Mike linebacker. Hopefully lands on his feet. I don't know if that was mutual, it seemed like it was like, hey, you're done. It's a tough business. Wide receivers obviously has been a highlight of the poor offensive production over the last couple years. If you don't produce,
yeah,
he probably
it's not the first time, right?
No.
Obviously he came into an open job during our tenure.
Yeah.
That was when Bobby Kennedy was told, like, hey, we're not going to be renewing you this year. So, I mean, it happens, right? It's like you said, it's
part of the business.
Part of the business. Yep.
What makes, good luck to Kelton going forward. What makes that relevant or interesting for Iowa fans that care is whoever is hired as an offensive coordinator, whenever that happens, feels like KF might just release it next summer, like in the summer. He's like, we got this guy is OC. He's been with us all spring, but we didn't want to tell you guys because fuck you guys. There'll be a position that, similar to Brian. Brian was OC quarterbacks coach. So now there's 2 open position coaching spots, both quarterbacks and wide receivers. So whoever is the OC,
are we just going to let Liddell Betts just run the whole offense? It's like, hey, you got some
money. Save some money on a coaching position. Let him just take it all.
Yeah, you are coaching the offense. It's yours. Go for it. Go crazy.
One thing that gets echoed a lot on Twitter is there's a couple guys out there that played pretty good ball and are in the coaching world, performance world, in Drew Tate and Ricky Stanzi. And a lot of people have been like, why don't we hire them as our quarterback coach? And it sounds great on paper. And I think maybe it would be great in reality. But you can't get caught up in what they were able to do with their ability and how they're able to coach quarterbacks. They could be great quarterback coaches, but don't just assume that they are.
Yeah, being a player and being a coach are extremely different skill sets. Being good at one does not make you good at the other.
That being said, Drew Tate has, I think he's got like a solid coaching career that he's put together, both in the CFL. I think he was at UNI, or maybe he's still at UNI right now, or something like that. So who knows? I don't know. Maybe interview, maybe not. But the OC will be in charge of either quarterbacks, which seems ideal. Seems like that's where you would want your OC, or wide receivers. We'll see. But 2 new hires obviously coming, hopefully soon. Is there anything else that was real exciting about all the coaching stuff that went down? I can't really Can't really think. I've seen so much shit. I think that was it. You guys watched the women's basketball game last night?
I did not. No, I was following it on Twitter though.
Grant, you watch it at all?
I saw some of it. Kind of going back and forth between that and football, but
it's probably this is the first full game I've caught all year, which is mostly just because of Kinley. So like running around playing with her, and I think Caitlin started like 0 for 6, 3-pointers, and then just caught fire. I mean, just started like she's going to catch it eventually. And a couple of the step backs that she had, I mean, it's just like every time you see it, you're like, people don't understand how hard that is. Like, I don't think people get what she's doing. It's incredible. Indiana, a 1-loss team ranked 14th in the country. They've got a really, really good player. Probably, I want to say she's definitely a draft pick. Probably a couple actual WNBA players on their roster right now. And they just absolutely dominated.
It was a rout. It was
dominated them. Close at half, and then it just blew them out of the water. Had a great finish to the half, and then just continued that momentum. 15,000 people showed up in the middle of a weekend where there was a blizzard, and travel not advised. It's like minus 100 degrees day after tomorrow situation, and people are like, no, we're gonna go see Caitlin Clark and Gus Johnson. It was hoops on prime time on TV, so it was nationwide for the world to see. I tweeted something today. I'd love both of your opinion on it. Carver's big, like 15,000 people, and we have Caitlin right now who sells out the stadium. She's arguably once in a what would it be? What's 100 years? Millennium?
It's
century.
A century? Sorry. It's cold down here. I can't fucking think right now. Millennium's 1,000 years. I'm an idiot. I didn't go to classes, guys. A once in a century kind of player. She, with the help of her teammates also being pretty good, and Iowa sending really off the back of what Gustafson and them did a few years ago. The program's in an incredible spot right now, obviously with the championship run last year. When Caitlin leaves, the sellout, I would guess, is not going to continue.
Maybe not, but people like watching. This is fans in general, but especially Iowa fans. People like watching good teams win games.
You're right.
That you're fans of, right?
You're right.
You know, people, I know, kind of get upset that the men's games don't get really good attendance. And that people always come up with like excuses why it's like, oh, Carver's not close for the students to get there. The student section seating sucks.
Oh, I'm with you here, Kev. The answer is that the team's not exciting to watch.
Yeah, I know. The women's are selling out almost every single games because they're really freaking good and they win, right?
And wrestling sells it out as well.
And wrestling sells out all the time because they're a nationally competitive program who is in the title contention every single year.
I guess where I should start this conversation. What I tweeted was, I think Carver, and this was basketball specific. I wasn't thinking. A couple of wrestling guys came after me like, "Fuck you, wrestling sells it out all the time." I don't know why wrestling fans sound like that.
Well, I would agree with imaginary wrestling fan number 1 right there. Like, why would you want to do that? I mean,
no,
Carver
you're right.
Is like legendary in wrestling.
100%, it's a great spot for where our wrestling program is and what we have built there. But for basketball, assuming that the Caitlin Clark effect wears off and she's gone from Iowa City after 2, 3, 5 years, I hope our program has ascended and we're able to be like a blue blood of women's college basketball. That'd be fantastic. And we've got some great recruiting classes. The eyes that Caitlin has brought to Iowa City and the Tiger Hawk and Iowa and that program is incredible. She's done a ton of work.
Yeah, and plus, like, recruits want to go to a place where they're going to play in front of a full house.
Yeah, people that
every
care.
Single game, right?
Sure.
Um,
It's hard to
now,
imagine though they continue to
will they sell out every single game once Caitlin leaves? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't imagine it'll fall through the floor. I don't
and I'm not saying that either. What Caitlin and that team over the last 5 to 8 years has done for the program, they've elevated it for sure. They're going to get great crowds no matter what. I'm just saying, in my opinion, if you want to sell out and help, because the men are going to play in the same spot as the women, and the men's program is arguably behind the women's at this point. In that regard.
Arguably, how?
Attendance-wise.
It definitely is. There's
right.
no arguably about it.
I'm just saying you don't know where it's going to, where the women's going to land. I just think like 12,000, like 10 to 12,000 in an arena where it feels like you're more on top of the court, like the environment is a little bit better. I just feel like that would help the basketball programs. And when Carver's full and it is sold out, it's rocking. But there's always these complaints about get the students closer to the court, like other places, like Duke does it or whatever. Clear, like get that space on both ends of the court out of there. Like we got to find some way to, and these are some of the excuses, Kev, that you were talking about when they're trying to figure out why people don't come to the men's games. But it's like, this isn't like this idea I had wasn't to like downplay. It's like, it's an idea to try and like further those programs along, increase the number of sellouts, increase the demand for a ticket a little bit more. Whereas some people just come and there's 15,000 tickets for a men's game. That's not very exciting. So the ticket prices are low. You can go sit in the rafters and you can just watch an Iowa men's game. It's just like, I don't know. I think that a basketball arena that's a little bit redesigned or rethought would be cool. But obviously Carver's historic and wrestling sells it out. So fuck me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I agree though. I think they should move the student section at least behind the benches. I think that's step one.
Got to do something.
Either way, like even if it's sold out or not, I think it'd be just more. I think you can still improve it. That's what I think.
Yeah, move the student section. I don't care. That sounds cool. I just don't feel the need to just throw 5,000 seats out of the stadium.
A couple other people on Twitter made a good point too, that like when you're looking to get regional events that aren't necessarily Iowa based, like a tournament bid for a site for the NCAA tournament or other stuff like that. I think does like the Olympic trials happen inside Carver too?
Wrestling's been there
for wrestling.
Yeah.
I think you have to have like a certain seat capacity. So I'm not even saying like trash Carver or like redo Carver to only seat 10,000 people. I'm just saying like maybe someday along the line, if you're continuing to get 9, 10, 11,000 people to fill a 15,000 seat arena, you got to do something to make it a little bit more hype, like to get all the people sat together closer to the court, close off the top. I don't know. Like maybe that is the thing. Like Wells Fargo Arena does that in Des Moines. The very top level, they curtain off and it makes everybody closer. It feels like the place is more full. But yeah, I don't know. I was just rambling thoughts. I do think, Kev, that you're right, though. I've wanted to say that for a while. People try and figure out the mysterious, like, why don't people go to the men's games? It's like, well,
they used to.
People show up for the wrestling team. People show up for women's basketball. So those are in the same seasons and have a bunch of the same time slots of the men's game. So there's really not a lot of other excuses.
Yeah. Who we got kicking off here? We got the Rams Lions. We got any opinions on that? Laporto got banged up last week.
I saw he was going to be a game time decision. Anybody seen?
I saw active.
Tough SOB.
They gave him the Mr. Miyagi treatment. They got him ready to go.
It'll be fun to watch. He set the record 4 touchdowns by a rookie tight end, I believe, last week, right? Tied the record with a couple other people.
Was that Ditka's record?
I believe he held it, yes, and now he's tied with Ditka. Going to be interesting to watch him and Jack take on the Rams. Stafford returns to Detroit.
Storylines galore.
Detroit -3 this evening.
They
First of all, did you either of you see the Packers just absolutely curb stomping the Cowboys today?
Yes.
Yeah, didn't see that coming.
Grant, you did not see that coming.
No, I didn't see that coming.
Oh,
no.
I thought you said yes.
You asked if we saw them curb stomp. I watched the curb stomping.
I say saw as in did you foresee it?
Oh, no. I think I said the opposite was going to happen. Actually.
Yeah, it was.
I had the Cowboys winning until they played a road game and then getting demolished.
How about my brother went to the Chiefs game yesterday.
Oh yeah, how do you say it was?
Just the coldest. I mean, you saw the videos on Twitter. They pull the beer out of the fridge; it automatically freezes in the water. And
is it weird? I thought it was going to be colder. Honestly,
colder than
I thought it was going to be. You guys remember Bills Patriots? I want to say from 2021, where it was they couldn't throw the ball, and it was a total nightmare.
I
was expecting that.
Pretty
and
cold.
It seemed it was cold for sure. But
did you see? I mean, Pat Mahomes' helmet literally cracked.
Yeah, that
and they did also get a TV timeout for him. Make sure he got his helmet back. Make sure everything was good.
Of course, a little controversy around that. They're supposed to call a timeout for that.
I'm just saying if a lowly defense back gets his helmet cracked, game moves on. No one says anything.
Come out of the game, get a replacement. Let's move it along.
Yeah, it's like when some guy gets hurt during practice. It's like, oh, it's not the quarterback. All right, move the drill 15 yards ahead. Let's go next play.
Kev, I love that. I always love that. Someone gets hurt. All right, move it up 20. Move it up. Did they just leave you in the dust like a hurt buffalo for the Lions to come and pick?
You ever see those videos of people passing out while they're doing marching in the military? And they just kind of just keep going, or they
drag them.
Go, to the side. They go around so that no one can see them. Yeah.
Or still going, still gotta do your job, get it done.
Hey, if you're in battle and you pass out, the enemy doesn't. Oh, hey, well, hold on, Johnny.
Time out. No.
Johnny needs some water. Then we'll continue our shooting at you.
Unless your name is Patrick Mahomes,
unless you're Pat Mahomes, maybe that's the answer. Maybe we put Pat Mahomes in the army, and then in foreign armies will and forces
in the Middle East.
Be like, hey, they got Pat Mahomes, guys. We can't.
Oh, time out. Pat Mahomes isn't ready.
We can't bomb him yet. No, but a couple good games. A lot of Hawks in the playoffs this year.
Oh yeah.
We have obviously Laporta and Campbell playing today. Do we have anybody on the Rams? AJ's on the Rams still.
Dude, he's playing good, man.
He's starting.
Yeah.
Dude, legend.
I was surprised he fell so far in draft boards. I always thought he'd be like a mid-round pick.
I thought he was going to be like a 3rd, 4th round pick too.
Yeah, but he's playing good.
And then we have
Desmond King lit up Flacco yesterday.
Oh yeah,
did a little 360.
Desmond's having a great year again too.
Another great year. He's just again, I told Lauren this yesterday. I was like, he was undeniable when it came to football. He's
still returning punts out there, and I think he's returning kicks too.
Tomorrow we'll have T Daddy going up against the Eagles.
You got Bills Steelers in the morning.
Nelson, obviously.
Antoine
Nelson, I think, is Merriweather on the practice squad for them, or maybe even active roster. And then we've got the game that was
we just saw Chauncey's playoff year end.
Yeah, we did, but we saw Lucas Van Ness extend his.
Yep.
He got a sack. He got a sack right before we started this podcast on Dak, which was cool. They threw a touchdown right after it, but Van Ness out there balling, Hercules. And then the game that got pushed back, we've got the Bills. We've got AJ. Is Micah Hyde healthy and playing?
I think so.
I think he's still playing somehow, some way. And then obviously Kittle and Linderbaum, they got the buys. They'll be playing next week. There's all the guys right there. Grant's got them pulled up.
Well, how do we not say AJ Epinesa? What are we doing?
I just did.
James
Daniels.
Does AJ get a contract after this year? Is he about to get paid?
Seems like a contract year. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've got James on. I always forget James.
Look at I forgot Christian Welch is balling for the Packers too. They showed him on the camera as well at one point. I didn't know Van Valkenburg was on a roster. Let's go, dude. We have so many guys.
Who's OJ with right now?
I don't know who OJ is with.
Fuck.
Search that, Grant. I want to say we had like the 8th or 9th most guys in the playoffs as a college team, which is kind of standard every year. Hawks are always top 10 in NFL guys. I tweeted something else. I'm going to leave with this. We really don't have a ton tonight, but I just want to get your thoughts. Kev, is it a no-brainer for the university or the Swarm or whoever can legally do it? Not that the NCAA is going to crack down on anything anyway, to write a blank check for Caitlin to get her to come back for another year?
It's the Rams, by the way, in case anyone was curious.
OJ's on the Rams, huh?
Didn't know that. Good for him.
OJ and AJ are good buddies too, so that's cool.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
So it's been my theory, and then I listened to John Miller on Miller and Williams say this, and they didn't really go deep into it. But in the idea of, and maybe I'm wrong, but because we live in the Hawkeye universe and it's all we see. But I feel like what Caitlin's done for not only the women's basketball program, but for the Tiger Hawk, like the amount of eyes that she's drawn to Iowa
for the Iowa brand.
Yeah, for the Iowa brand, has been just absurd.
Yeah.
You got Kevin Durant talking about her, and she's getting tweeted about by LeBron James and all this stuff, that kind of thing. And it's really hard to quantify this because what is the return value on that monetarily, on the amount of eyes and jerseys that she's selling around the country? I don't know. It feels like to me though, if we can figure out a way to get her for one more year of continuing to do all that, bringing eyes to the Iowa games and all the stuff and all the publicity and all the stuff that she does, one more year doing that in a Tiger Hawk uniform, what's the ROI on that? 5 million? 10 million? More? What's another year of her being a part of the program and more high school girls wanting to come to Iowa, and then the program being just a little bit better because she got more good recruits to come here, and now the program is better for longer or better quicker than they would have been? What's the return on that?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a good question.
They should at least try. Everyone's got a price. I know she wants to go do great things for the WNBA, and she feels like she probably.
I mean, the thing is, she's already making
so much
from her endorsements, right?
Well, and that's the thing is there's not going to be a single NIL deal you do with a business that's going to do this. It's going to have to be hey, this isn't $100,000 deal or a $500,000 deal. This is we're giving you $10 million to stay a Hawkeye for one more year.
Does the university make money? Say that comes out of university pockets. Does the university make money on the deal? I would say it's less than $10 million.
And maybe it is.
I could be. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. Obviously, ticket sales is one.
It's not the ticket sales aren't going to be what does it. It's going to be.
But no, I think the biggest thing, honestly, what it does is, and a lot of people don't recognize this, but if your team makes a run in postseason,
it's enrollment.
That's free ad dollars for the university.
Yep. What was it? Who did it? Such a good point, Kev. I'm so glad you brought that up. What team was it? Was it Coastal Carolina? Was it
Florida Gulf Coast?
Florida Gulf Coast, Grant. Yes.
Dunk City.
When they went Dunk City, whenever that was.
That was awesome.
2014 or whatever, and they upset two teams and they made the switch. Their enrollment applications went up something 2,000% or something like that.
Are you serious? Wow.
It was something nuts, dude.
It's probably an awesome school to go to. It's probably
it's probably like people never heard of Florida Gulf Coast. They Google it, and then it's probably like on some gorgeous campus.
And they're like, holy shit, we get to go to school on the Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, I'm going to this school. Looks awesome. Let me go here.
It's 2013, in case anyone was curious.
Can you find the can you type in something like Florida Gulf Coast enrollment bump? Tournament enrollment bump. Like, I don't even know how you would find that, but I know it was something crazy, and I know it happens all the time. Last year, I think TCU went through it when what's his face, Max
Duggan
took him to the playoff run and all that. I think they saw like a very significant bump last year.
Does it go back down after the national championship?
Probably,
like,
but it's
God,
still,
oh no.
Like, it's at least. Did you find something, Grant?
Did you find something?
No, I'm trying to. I was talking about that. Wow. So in from March 21st to March 25th, visits the admissions page for Florida Gulf Coast University went from 2,200 to 42,000.
Yeah. Yep.
School website went from 47,000 to 230,000.
So great.
Definitely a lot.
So I think that's another thing that people that get so upset about these college coaches, whether it's basketball, football, making so much money, don't understand is that's actually an investment for the university.
Huge. That's what I'm saying.
Not only for the athletic department, right? Obviously, like Iowa, for example, fully self-sustaining athletic department, like ticket sales and TV revenue, like fully funds the whole operation, yada yada. But that pulls in money to the rest of the institution. So I saw a tweet for Alabama, for instance. Nick Saban made something like $160 million from Alabama over his career.
Mm.
Enrollment in Alabama increased something. It was like 3 times the national average.
That's crazy.
Assuming, and vast majority of those being out-of-state students, right?
Expensive
so
tuition.
The university made over $1 billion in the tuition increase in revenue from more students wanting to go to Alabama and more of those being out-of-state students, that they made over $1 billion in him just
because the program was good
during that time. Yeah, exactly. Because kids want to go where it's going to be fun to go, right?
Right.
It's fun to go see football teams win games where you have a packed house and it's a fun environment, or a basketball team that goes on a tournament run. And it's like, when you have a lot of eyes on your university and on your institution, it's worth a lot of money. And that might be the single greatest asset that Caitlin is for the University of Iowa. That's what eyes on the program.
That's what I was saying.
Nothing absolutely fixed to a certain dollar amount.
Right.
But it's the fact that it gets eyes on the university and in the institution.
Caitlin staying for another 365 days longer than if she decides to hang it. And I'm not saying that it's the wrong decision either. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Like, oh, Kluver thinks that she shouldn't. If she wants to go.
For her, I don't think there is a wrong decision for this.
There's certainly
the world is her fucking oyster. She can do whatever the hell she wants.
Right. But there is a dollar value of her for Iowa, the brand, to stay in Iowa City for another year and play basketball for the Hawkeyes. And it is a very large number. It is in the 7 figures for sure. Again, Kev, you're right. Maybe it isn't 8 figures. Maybe it's not 10 million. It's definitely above $1 million. Who knows how big it is? And is it worth it to try and be like, hey, we know you're making $5 million in endorsements already, but what if we give you another 5 for 1 year? Just stay. You can go do all your stuff that you're going to do, but give us 1 more year. $5 million. We'll write you the check. The university is going to see 10, 15, 20 million off of that, more than we would if you leave. I don't know if there's anybody out there or any algorithms that could run that equation, but it would just be, it's a very interesting topic.
Yeah. And obviously, this is not a knock on women's sports whatsoever, but just being real, like women's basketball is not at the same level as nationally as men's basketball. Or
Kevin hates women, confirmed.
But if she were like a transcendent athlete in either of those sports, it'd obviously be worth more just because that's where we're at.
For sure.
Country.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. interesting conversation. That's all I got, boys. I don't got much more. Look at this. Florida Gulf Coast University. First year housing. Oh my God.
Holy shit. I want to go there.
It looks like a resort.
It is a resort. Because it is.
Is this like a resort that went bankrupt and this college is like, hey, we're just going to start having classes.
No, it's just Marriott Bonvoy University. They took over Ritz-Carlton.
On a freaking beach, man.
Kev.
They are not lying about the golf and Gulf Coast University.
Kev, we're getting our masters.
Yeah, hell yeah, we are. What do they got programs in?
And we're going to Florida Gulf Coast, baby. We're gonna pod from the
Gulf Coast. Put a poll up on Twitter. What should we go get our master's degree in at FGU?
All right, Grant, write that down. Make sure we do that tweet. Oh, by the way, people in the Discord wondering why Grant doesn't get loose with the social accounts. Why you don't tweet like some fun walk-on memes from our page or anything? I was like, he's got the logins, and they're like, oh, he's just too safe with his.
Oh, I don't know. I just do the videos every time. I don't know any text, anything that comes out from the walk-on account.
You're allowed to like retweet or do like funny things like brand accounts do. If you want.
Okay, we'll see.
More than welcome. If you bring us bad publicity, just know it can't be worse than anything that Drake has done.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it is. Well, I mean, I have a weird employment situation with this company, if you want to call it an employment situation.
Right, you have zero employment, is what it is.
Yeah, I try and play careful. Yeah, like I could also just lose. Oh yeah, we just remove Grant from the group chat.
You did well. You did get your
tell him what another episode is
because your internet cut out the other night, and me and Kevin had to do the episode by yourself. You did get your pay cut a little bit
from 0 to 0.
Right.
Yeah, it's devastating. We'll see.
So
I'll tell the family there's no dinner for the next few nights. I'll let them know.
Yep, no date night.
We got Dr. Ramen rations for the next week.
Yeah. But looking at this though, I mean, so I fly back to Iowa tomorrow.
Yeah, you do.
Don't get me wrong. I love the University of Iowa. Wouldn't change a thing.
Are you considering a senior year second semester?
But I could have flown to Florida Gulf Coast.
Could have. We've probably upped the enrollment on by a couple people just by talking about them on this podcast.
They'll get at least a couple people going to their website based on
100%.
And you never know.
The commission on that.
What is the click to enrollment ratio?
I don't know.
Our lawyers will be
far less than the value of what Caitlin would do if she stayed for another year. Everybody enroll your kids at Florida Gulf Coast. Thank you for joining the walk-ons on this podcast.
You know what Caitlin really should do is she should take her talents to Florida Gulf Coast.
Shit.
I know she's a big listener of this podcast. Caitlin, please don't do that.
Caitlin, don't do that.
Like,
and I don't.
Shit, that's actually a great idea.
Caitlin, if you listen to this podcast, send the walk-ons a DM. So we can talk. I just don't want to lose you. We need to get you on the podcast.
We didn't bring it up, but did you guys see there was that moment during the game where she rolled her ankle and was hobbling over to the tunnel?
Yeah, she went to the tunnel.
Stomach was just so.
Every single Hawkeye fan on earth was just like, "Oh no!"
I was like, "This is the worst case scenario that could ever happen."
Blowout win by the Hawks women's team.
Congratulate the men too, beating Nebraska.
Men had a great win versus
and the wrestling team. Just 4 hours of dominance.
I really wanted to see Ben Keeter. Didn't get to see him against the polar bear of Nebraska, that football player.
It's an awesome nickname.
Huge week in Iowa sports. Drake, UNI, Iowa State, Iowa, they all won all their basketball games, both men and women. It was a massive week. During a storm, that's just mental toughness. That's just lunch pail, blue collar from the state of Iowa in one of the hardest times of the year. It's what you love to see. I don't know what that static noise is.
What you get to see, and in between every single commercial break, you got about 18 presidential commercials.
Jesus God, it's horrible. If I don't know how many Nikki Haley ads I can see before I run my head through a wall.
It's only going to get worse. There's only going to be more.
And
it's not, because this is the last day you're going to see them.
Insert political name. It's not just, I don't care if it's Republican, Democrat, all of them I'd love for them all to fly down to the Florida Gulf Coast and do their campaigning down there. Just stay down there.
At Mar-a-Lago?
Yes. I think that got rated. I don't know. Maybe they
did it? Really?
I think at some point, yeah.
Oh boy.
That was a while ago.
You think the beds are made? Think they have room for all the other candidates? That's all I got. Anything else, boys?
Nope.
Epstein didn't kill himself. I got thrown out for our boy Drake.
Drake's gonna love that. Drake's gonna love that. All right. Washed up walk-ons, everybody. Thanks for listening. Peace.